And good morning and welcome to Touch Base Day. My name is Ron Foster, touching base with you as I do always on during the week. How are you all doing? And it's a new day, and people are celebrating around the country. Jimmy Kimmel was back last night. We'll talk about that. And hopefully, we'll have a guest on, someone that you may know. And also, how are you doing on this wonderful Wednesday, hump day? It is hump day. It is hump day in the world. It is Wednesday. And I have to tell you, it's been busy. It's been busy. It looks like there's no city behind me because I have the shades up, but the city's out there. A little hazy today. And but how are you all doing? Let's start with some good mornings. I see Hannah's in the building. She says, "Good morning, Ron and Touch Base Daily Family." Chris says, "Good morning." And Kelly is in third place. She says, "Good morning, everyone." And we got the great and wonderful Bryson is in the building. What's up, Ron? What's up, everybody? Happy Wicked Wednesday. Wicked for Good trailer just dropped today. Our entertainment correspondent, Mr. Bryson Leach. And so, yeah. Did any of you guys watched? Were any of you part of the 7 million views of yesterday's Jimmy Kimmel return? That's incredible. A lot of people watched. A lot of people not only watched, but they went on YouTube, looked at it, checked it out, went in, looked at the videos, the monologue. I have the monologue queued up so we can talk about some of it today. And today's Water Cooler Wednesday. That's what we do on Wednesday. We do Water Cooler Talk. And so this is one of those days we are going to talk about, I guess you can say, freedom of speech. And it's definitely water cooler conversations. So anyways, I am so excited that you are here with me on this wonderful day. You could be anywhere else. You could be somewhere else. But here you are at Let's Talk Wednesdays. Let's Talk Wednesday. And so here we are. I know it used to be called water cooler, but I said, it's too big. It's too much to put water cooler talk on the screen. Let's Talk Wednesday. That's where we are today. Let's Talk Wednesday. And what else is happening in the world? So the UN is in town. Oh my gosh! Yesterday I hung out and I went to yesterday I went to get my 6-month screening. They have to do the screening after you have cancer and make sure that nothing's coming back. All your disease is remission. Everything is clear. So yesterday I had to fast all day yesterday. So after I left you guys, I ran to the city, got on a bike, rode up to the clinic, uptown Manhattan, Upper East Side, and I got all of the tests done, as in the CT scans, to make sure everything inside is working properly. And so I think everything is great. I think good. She's like, everything looks good on you. So and then after that, I said, let me visit one of my buddies. So one of my buddies was in, he works in Manhattan. So I said, you know what? This is a great time to just hang out with him. So I got myself together and met him downtown in Midtown. And then we had dinner, and it was just great. But let me tell you something about the traffic in New York. Don't come to New York during UN week with a car. There was traffic jams on every main thoroughfare. It was every single block was congested with people, cars, buses, traffic. It was horrific. Even on the bike, I was riding down. I said, let me ride up I was at 97th Street. So I said, you know what? Let me ride down on the bike, straight down on 5th Avenue. I like to ride along Central Park when I'm riding my city bike, especially if I'm coming down on the east side. And we got to 57th Street, and it was like, nope, you can get nowhere near the Trump Tower. And so they closed off 2 blocks in, 2 blocks out, 2 blocks that direction. So it was a 4-block radius cut off. And in some cases, it was going downtown, it was like 6 blocks. And you could not, sorry for the sirens, it's New York, right? Oh, one day this will be all gone. It will not be like this in Namibia, I can tell you that. Oh, this is my life in New York City. And I will tell you, everything was blocked off from 57th Street to 40, I think it was 43rd Street, almost a 10-block drop. And so I had to ride all the way down on the east side, Lexington Avenue, go around 40th, then come back. So go back down to 40th, and then come back up to visit my buddy who I was meeting at Bryant Park. Man, do not come to New York if you don't want to be stressed. Do not. It is UN week. And the sirens keep coming, and they keep coming. And I can't tell you, I was telling my buddy, Paul, who's staying with me, I said, Paul, I'm done. I can't take the sirens anymore. And I've been that way ever since I came back home from Africa the first time. And now it just gets worse and worse. As I get older, those pitches drive me like, it's like chalk it's like fingers on a chalkboard. And so yeah, so how are you guys doing? I see some more people have walked into the building. Let me say hello to you guys, and then we're going to bring on our special guest, our special familiar guest, and our family member here. Hey, I see Mr. Blackman is in the building. He says hello. I see Kim is in the building. She says good morning. And make sure if you're in the building, you hit the likes. Make sure you hit the like and share. Like and share. Thank you. He says, share the live. Share the live, says Blackman. Thank you, Mr. Blackman. He says, share the live. Yes, share the live with your friends. And Elise says, good morning, everyone. Good morning, everyone. And I see also Bryson is in. He says, if y'all in DC and Baltimore, Sinclair didn't air Jimmy Kimmel live last night, but it didn't matter. You know why? Because YouTube recorded the Jimmy Kimmel live monologue, 21.1 million subscribers. So far, almost 1 million people liked, but there were more views than that. They were saying that there were 7 million views last night watching the monologue. Nothing on YouTube, nothing on television gets 7 million views for a talk show host in the evening. 7 million views. So people said, you know what, St. Clair, you may not air it, or the other one, Next Star, you may not air it, but we'll still get it. Because guess what? Like we said yesterday, power is with the people. Power is with the people. And so speaking of the power, I just want to bring up, we'll just do this real quick. And let me get all set here. And here we go. Let me see if we get this. Here we go. Oh. Hey, what happened there? What happened there? What happened there? I had it on. Here we go. There we go. I got you. Here we And y'all ready? Y'all ready for it? Y'all ready for it? And then we're gonna bring Tachi on. Dr. Tachi is in the building. She's in the building. So we'll talk. But here we go. Here we go. Let me share this with you because 7 million people and counting watching the monologue of Jimmy Kimmel Live. Standing ovation that lasted for a while. And then I'll see what you guys say. I see Anthony's in the building.
Thank you. Anyway, as I was saying before I was interrupted, if you're just joining us, we are preempting your regularly scheduled encore episode of Celebrity Family Feud to bring you this special report. I'm happy to be here tonight with you.
I mean, the applause kept going. The applause kept going. And it was really good. I'm
not sure who had a weirder 48 hours, me or the CEO of Tylenol. It's been overwhelming. I've heard from a lot of people over the last 6 days. I've heard from all the people in the world over the last 6 days. Everyone I have ever met has reached out 10 or 11 times. Weird characters from my past. The guy who fired me from my first radio job in Seattle, where we are not airing tonight, by the way. Sorry, Seattle. His name is Larry. In 1989, Larry tried to force me to do a bit called Jokes for Donuts, where people would call in with a joke and I would give them donuts. I refused to do it, and then I made a lot of fun of Larry for suggesting it, and eventually Larry fired me, and I had to move back in with my parents. But even he wrote in to cheer me up. Thank you, Larry, and I want to thank everyone who checked in. I want to thank all week to list all of them, but some that I do especially want to mention are my fellow late night talk show hosts, my friend Stephen Colbert, who's found himself in this predicament, my friends Jon Stewart, Seth Meyers, Jimmy Fallon, John Oliver, Conan O'Brien, James Corden, Arsenio, Kathy, Wanda, Chelsea, even Jay reached out. I heard from late night hosts in other countries, from Ireland and from Germany. The guy in Germany offered me a job. Can you imagine? This country has become so authoritarian. The Germans are like, come here, cut loose. My boyhood idols, Howard Stern and David Letterman, were very considerate and kind, and I feel honored to be part of a group of people that knows what goes into doing a show like this. And I also want to thank all of you. Unforgettable.
Can you guys hear me? Sorry, my bad. You couldn't hear me. So you have I said, well, without any further ado, we have our wonderful Dr. Tachi. What's up, Dr. Tachi?
How are you?
All things media.
Yes. How are you?
I am happy. I don't know what, you just don't know what's going to happen in the world.
Yeah.
To help humanity or help Americans get it together. And if this whole debacle, Disney debacle, brings people that are from different parts of the political spectrum together under one cause and one thought of free speech, that is definitely a chipping away of what this orange man is trying to do. And it gives me a little glimmer of hope. And what was really beautiful about all of this is seeing so many people coming together for one cause. And I mean, like, think about, I mean, Jimmy Kimmel is on at the same time as Colbert and Fallon. They're all in competition. But that didn't matter. They all, even on their shows, they were they were rooting for Jimmy's show last night. It's just, I love that. I love camaraderie. I love community. What do you got to say, my dear?
It
What's
reminded me of.
Oh, yeah. That's why you're here, because I know you got a lot on your mind.
Yeah, I nearly made you jump off of a box with all of that when we had our our conversation the other day. So it reminded me of this whole thing reminded me of remember Drumline, the movie with Nick Cannon?
Yes.
One band, one sound. That's what it reminds me. That's one thing about, I mean, other schools do it too, but particularly HBCUs, one band, one sound.
One sound.
And so even though there were other late night talk show hosts that of course go up against them and everybody's trying to win the late night wars, we're all late night talk show hosts, one band, one sound.
Yes.
So other talk show hosts also came in support of him as well. So you had Wanda Sykes, other talk show hosts and comedians. You had Wanda Sykes who came out in support. So many people.
Yes.
And I think it was really a level of, and this is a word that is not a word, fed upness, that people have had it with not just the entire administration, but the assault on personal rights. So
Yes.
I didn't watch it last night. I watched it this morning when I got up because I knew I needed to watch it. Now, first of all, I know that Sinclair is not in charge of our ABC affiliate here, but I didn't get a chance to see if Nexstar was. So, but we'll talk about Nexstar Sinclair in just a moment. But I think it was fantastic that first of all, I watched it and I always find him hilarious because I get that type of humor. Not everybody finds him hilarious, but I thought he was spot on coming in with as I was saying,
yes,
I was so rudely interrupted.
If I was interrupted, right? I was just interrupted this week.
Exactly. And for the name of the episode is actually called As I Was Saying, if you look on YouTube.
Ah, yes.
And yes. So I watched that and the monologue was so spot on and so poignant, but
yes.
There were a couple, and I loved it, but there were a couple of things that came to mind as this monologue, what was happening. First of all,
I'm going to dissect it. I have all my cues. I have my cues, so when we're ready to talk about it, I got my homework. I did everything to make sure we have everything
So let
ready.
me let you lead, sir. Let me let you lead.
Yeah. So I am also, like you said, the monologue. I am a big fan of Jimmy Kimmel. I'm not a fan. I love Jimmy Kimmel and I love Colbert. I'm not a Fallon fan. I don't get his jokes. I don't get his humor. However, if there's anyone that's like my inner voice, is Jimmy Kimmel. Jimmy, if you want to know how I think and how I'm wired, and you look at the three different people, I'm a cross between Jimmy Kimmel and Colbert. But I am more Jimmy Kimmel. One is what gives Jimmy Kimmel my alliance is that his ability to show emotion. When there's a school shooting, if it's guns, wherever he is passionate about, he has no problem in sharing how he feels about it, and he will shed the tears right on while he's sharing it. So I feel like it takes an incredible person to be so transparent with their emotions in public on such a major stage.
And I think that's why this worked. I don't know if it
Yes.
would have been the same case if it had been
Yes.
another late night talk, because other late night talk show hosts talk about the administration too.
Yes.
But if you ask me, they saw him as a weak link because he does show emotion. And what is this whole thing about? That it is weak to show emotion. The
And
other side, that is
empathy,
their
right?
thing.
That's their
And
new calling card.
empathy.
Empathy.
Exactly. So who do they go after? Of course, the person who shows emotion and empathy the most.
Yes.
Jimmy Kimmel. So it makes perfect sense. There are no mistakes when it comes to this. It makes perfect sense. But I think this is the reason. And if you saw, there were standing ovations, if I counted at least 5 times during his monologue for different types of things. And I think the standing ovation was for him.
Yes.
But it was also for democracy.
Democracy.
That was a metaphor for standing ovation and the clapping for democracy. This is what this whole, Jimmy Kimmel is just a sacrificial lamb in all of this.
Yes.
It's so much bigger than him. As he mentioned, he is just one tiny part of the entire Disney franchise.
Yes.
But they chose to go after him. There was a reason for this.
Strategic.
Because it was very strategic. And if you look at him and who he represents, he's a regular person, right? His aunt and uncle came on regularly. He is a regular person who just happens to be on late night rather than a celebrity who is on late night. If you look at what he does or what he's done for that. Now, I don't know if you've ever been to the theater where Jimmy Kimmel is. I haven't been to the theater, but I stayed at the W Hotel right across the street. That's that part of Hollywood Boulevard. The Hollywood Boulevard is a little seedy. Let's say that.
Yes,
it is seedy.
That's the word, seedy.
People think of, Hollywood, but you go in there, this is a little iffy. And I've been all up and down Hollywood Boulevard. It's a little rough. However, that didn't stop Jimmy Kimmel. He actually lives in Hollywood. Unlike a lot of other celebrities that live in Beverly Hills and in Calabasas and places outside of Hollywood. He actually lives in Hollywood, and then he actually, that part of Hollywood Boulevard is infested with the quote unquote, quote, what they would like to call the bottom of society, but he actually brings them in to the fold.
Especially when he does his man on the street stuff.
Yes,
and he asks questions. Yes.
Exactly. When he asks them questions, he goes out on the street and does stuff. And this doesn't mean that other late night talk show hosts have not done that. But this was a thing that he does because what do regular people do? They talk to other regular people.
Yes.
So I think there's that sense of he represents us in a sense, and that's why this worked. That's why in addition to him being who he is, it was also the final straw for many people.
Yes.
This should not have been the final straw, and this is part of my argument. But it was the final straw. But keep going, and I will add in because this is up me alley.
This was really good. I thought this was really good when he thought. I mean, because when I heard, because I saw the interview with Ted Cruz on another platform. And I was like, wait a minute, Ted Cruz is defending, but I want everyone to remember that a lot of these, for instance, Elise, I put her statement up. Elise said this, or I started. Elise says, just remember, Disney allowed him to return because they were losing billions of dollars. I will not renew my subscription. So that was my question yesterday. I said, will people return? A lot of people will not return. And this was a bad decision on Disney. They had no clue. Again, I talked about this yesterday. It takes years to build a reparable legacy reputation. And
overnight, they dismantled that.
They crushed their own integrity. Bob Iger?
Well, here's the thing. It it stands to reason that they never had any integrity in the first place.
There you go.
This is not the first time that they've had political battles. If we remember back a few years ago with Disney and Declantis, and how he wanted to, basically dismantle the whole thing because they had this "don't say gay" thing, and Disney's like, "No, we're not going to do that." And so, of course, there was a whole thing and a whole lawsuit and all of that, which has now, I guess, somehow been settled. But they've been no stranger to controversy. Even if we go back to the past, okay, there have been struggles with controversy. But if we're looking at this now, this is a multi-billion-dollar corporation that shouldn't have had to kowtow to anything. Now, I understand Brendan Carr was threatening to pull the FCC license. All right, well then go on YouTube, do something else.
Gangster style.
Exactly. Last night proved. So last night, as you said, there were about 7 million or so people who watched it after. We're up to 10 million views at this point. Nobody in broadcast, cable, nobody gets those numbers. So the thing is, we are ascribing way too much importance to legacy media, legacy television. And this is what I want for people to do, because I'm tired of this. At this point, I'm tired. And if I'm talking to you, be offended. I don't care. Stop giving so much credence and importance to mainstream players, mainstream media, and people who only operate in the mainstream. If you are a creator, stop saying, "Oh yeah, I'm trying to pitch to Netflix." And stuff. Do it your damn self. I'm tired of this. They've shown and they've proven. First of all, I tell you all every week, Hollywood works with who Hollywood knows. They don't know you. They're not going to work with you. You could get mad and sulk in the corner if you want and eat your bowl of stone soup. I don't care. They don't know you. They're not going to work with you. I know this firsthand. Okay. They are risk adverse. Part of the reason why this is happening. And so they're not going to work with who they don't know. And now, even because you see how they treat people they do know. The devil you know is better than the angel. You think they care about you? You think they give two damns about you? My dear, they don't. So stop begging mainstream media for a chance. Do it yourself. This is Indy's time. I made this prediction in terms of the rise of citizen journalism. Every year I contribute to Ross Brand's book, 100 Predictions. And my prediction was this year there was going to be a rise in citizen journalism fueled by AI tools. What's happening? Everybody should be as in the know as I am. Forget about the fact that I teach this. Forget about the fact that I have a PhD in communication and mass media. You should know, because if you are to be a critical media consumer, you need to understand how media works, what I'm consuming, and how it affects me and the people around me, because it's not just you. Remember, we're trying to get back to collectivism, how it affects the people around me. Can I add something? Can you tell I'm on fire? Hey,
you're on fire. I knew you would be. I knew you would be.
Let me add something. This is me all day long. I can talk about other things, but this is what I know for sure.
That's right.
I really want to point out some things that kind of have disappointed me about this whole thing. While I love the fervor and the fire that people had, there were protests in front of the theater, right? All of the unions in Hollywood that represent performers and people above and below the line, they all came out against this move. Even as you mentioned, the deplorable Ted Cruz, who is only for himself. Well, because in this case, he's only for himself, because if you notice what he said, because this is something terrible for conservatives as well. So it had nothing to do. He doesn't care about us.
He was saying because one day Democrats will leave the Senate and the chambers and Congress, and they will go after us using what we're doing here today.
Now, what they don't know is that people of God don't do that type of retribution. So read your Bible sometimes, Cruz, since you claim to be such a Christian. What they don't know, and I think that's the same thing that they're fearful of with Black people. So when we let them get power, they're going to do the same thing. We're not built that way. That's not in our DNA. If there's something genetically wrong with you, don't put that on us. We don't do that. Okay. So we don't do those types of things. And that's what they will never realize, because they always operate out of a spirit of hatred. That faction, let's say, always operates out of a spirit of hatred, out of a spirit of fear, because there's a fair amount of fear, unfounded fear out of this. And that's how they operate. And they think that because there's a spirit of also being the standard, because you think this is what you do, the rest of us will do that. My friend, please don't put yourself on a pedestal like that. You are not that important. And this is what we need, this whole thing. You are not that important. We also have to show mainstream media, you are not that important. The next generation, do they even watch you? They don't even watch Jimmy Kimmel, no offense. They're watching I Show Speed on Twitch game. They're watching Kai Cenat do gaming. They're not tuned into this. So the things that disappointed me about this, even though everybody is on board, the same spirit, but I was happy to hear Kimmel talk about this. The same spirit, where was the same energy with Joy Reid? Where has the same energy been when it comes to journalists in general? Journalists are killed and nobody says anything. It's almost as if, well, that's your job and that's what. No, it shouldn't be. Why is it when there's a comedian and it's Good Time Charlie that everybody now, I don't know where Good Time Charlie came from, but anyway, when I think that's a saying, right? When it's a Good Time Charlie, now it's a problem. Why is that always the case? We're too entrenched in entertainment, but journalists, the good journalists, are the ones that bring you the facts and the important stories. They put themselves on the line every day in war zones and situations that nobody else will put themselves in to give you the story. Those are the people we should be protesting for. But here's another end to this. The whole reason that this is even happening, because Pim, when it came to Joy, nobody said Pim except us, right?
That's right.
The whole reason that this is happening now is because it's come to claim one of their own. Now it has hit non-melanated men. Oh!
Did you say that? Did you say that? Did you say that, Dr. Tachi?
I did say that to you on the phone.
Before hold your thought. I'm going to share this part, because this is it kind of gives a whole snippet, and then we'll go right back into this.
Absolutely.
And this is Jimmy Kimmel talking about.
And I think unjustly, this puts them at risk. The President of the United States made it very clear he wants to see me and the hundreds of people who work here fired from our jobs. Our leader celebrates Americans losing their livelihoods because he can't take a joke. He was somehow able to squeeze Colbert out of CBS. Then he turned his sights on me. And now he's openly rooting for NBC to fire Jimmy Fallon and Seth Meyers and the hundreds of Americans who work for their shows who don't make millions of dollars. And I hope that if that happens, or if there's even any hint of that happening, you will be 10 times as loud as you were this week. We have to speak out against this because he's not stopping. And it's not just comedy. He's gunning for our journalists too. He's suing them. He's bullying them. Over the weekend, his foxy friend Pete Hegseth announced a new policy that requires journalists with Pentagon press credentials to sign a pledge promising not to report information that hasn't been explicitly authorized for release. That includes unclassified information. They want to pick and choose what the news is. I know that's not as interesting as muzzling a comedian, but it's so important to have a free press, and it is nuts that we aren't paying more attention to it.
Yes, and I was very proud when he said that.
That was, he's such a thinker. And he laid out everything he wanted to share last night that was plaguing our society, community, our country. He was able to take this opportunity because he knew all these people were going to be watching. and he was able to he harnessed the moment. Now, as you were saying, journalists, we wish that this was, Joy Reid, Don Lemons, all of these people. You know how many journalists have lost their jobs in just a year? Nate
Absolutely.
Tomakostas. I mean, the list goes on. What's his name? What's his name from Mindy? What's his Mindy?
Yeah, I know who you're talking about. Yes. There's so many.
There's so many. The list goes on.
The list goes on. But there was largely silence.
All of them. Katie Fang, all of them.
The list goes on.
It goes on.
But the thing is that because this is why we have to, you can't be so stuck on entertainment only, because again, even if, all these people that are protesting, you're coming out for entertainment, but do you realize that news people are also, some of them are part of these unions?
Yes.
But you said nothing.
Yes.
When it came to these individuals. News has a different segment of those unions still, but come out and speak for them as well. And see, that's the disappointing thing, that this has been going on, okay?
Yes.
And now
over the year and a half, 2 years.
But longer than that.
Yeah.
Longer than this. Now that it has come for not only one of entertainment's own, but also a non-melanated entertainer, now it's a problem. Meanwhile, the rest of us are looking at you like side-eye because this has been happening. So I'm glad that Jimmy Kimmel said this, but everybody else needs to wake up, including these unions, which some of these news people are members of. You need to stand up when it comes to them too. It can't just be about entertainment. Go ahead.
And people don't realize, the journalists are the fourth pillar of government. You have obviously the judicial, right? You have Congress, you have the presidency, and the silent partner of this all is journalism. Journalism and people reporting the news holds people into account of what's going on. Without journalists and these comedians, they go hand in hand. Comedians have always been used to tell the story, like Shakespeare. You look at all the old Shakespeare plays and how the people of the town use comedy and how they did plays to talk about the king and all that stuff. And, so entertainment has always been used for political reasons to shed light on what the government or the king or whoever was in charge doing. And
you know who said this? I'm sorry.
Yes, go ahead.
Brendan Carr said this before he was the chairman of the FCC.
Wasn't
he said
that
it
crazy?
when he was a member.
The hypocrisy. You keep talking. I'm going to cue that in.
The hypocrisy or the fear, right? You are so fearful. First of all, if this doesn't teach you anything right now, this should teach you how untrustworthy mainstream media has become. We have to look toward independent sources, and you have to support us, all of us, everything. Because I'm not giving excuses to people anymore or passes. Well, maybe you need to support independent media because we're the ones doing the work without the glorious pay, by the way. So we need your support. Definitely your eyeballs, definitely passing this on to people. Go ahead. You queued up something?
Yeah, all queued. Ready to go.
Okay, go ahead. I'll talk after.
Here we go.
I've had the opportunity to meet and spend time with comedians and talk show hosts from countries like Russia, countries in the Middle East, who tell me they would get thrown in prison for making fun of those in power, and worse than being thrown in prison. They know how lucky we are here. Our freedom to speak is what they admire most about this country. And that's something I'm embarrassed to say I took for granted until they pulled my friend Steven off the air and tried to coerce the affiliates who run our show in the cities that you live in to take my show off the air. That's not legal. That's not American. That is un-American, and it is so dangerous. I want you to think about this. Should the government be allowed to regulate which podcasts the cell phone companies and Wi-Fi providers are allowed to let you download to make sure they serve the public interest? Do you think that sounds crazy? No. 10 years ago, this sounded crazy. Brendan Carr, the chairman of the FCC, telling an American company, we can do this the easy way or the hard way, and that these companies can find ways to change conduct and take action on Kimmel, or there's going to be additional work for the FCC ahead, in addition to being a direct violation of the First Amendment, is not a particularly intelligent threat to make in public. Ted Cruz said he sounded like a mafioso. Although, I don't know, if you want to hear a mob boss make a threat like that, you have to hide a microphone in a deli and park outside in a van with a tape recorder all night long. This genius said it on a podcast. Brendan Carr is the most embarrassing car Republicans have embraced since this one. And that's saying something. The FCC has a tradition of meddling where they shouldn't under many administrations, but it wasn't always like this. There was an FCC commissioner back in 2022 who worked under Joe Biden, who was spot on. He wrote, President Biden is right. Political satire is one of the oldest and most important forms of free speech. It challenges those in power while using humor to draw more people into the discussion. That's why people in influential positions have always targeted it for censorship. You know who wrote that? FCC Commissioner Brendan Carr, who later was appointed chairman of the FCC by this former crusader for free speech.
If we don't have free speech, then we just don't have a free country. It's as simple as that. If this most fundamental right is allowed to perish, then the rest of our rights and liberties will topple, just like dominoes, one by one. They'll go down.
That was also in 2022. And I wonder, how did that guy turn into this guy?
Who would you like to see replace Kimmel on late night?
Well, a lot of people, anybody could replace him. The guy had no talent. Kimmel look, he was fired. He had no talent. He's a whack job, but he had no talent. And more importantly than talent, he had no, because a lot of people have no talent, they get ratings. But he had no ratings.
Well, I do tonight. Yeah. Thank you.
Exactly.
He does tonight. Indeed. Indeed.
But
and
you
that
see
really
the hypocrisy of it all.
Yeah.
And these people feel like they act like none of this is being recorded. We live in the world where everything you say is being recorded. We are online. We are talking. We are being recorded. Everywhere you are in the world, if you're on TV, online, on a news program, anywhere, it's recorded. Your words will come back to haunt you. And these people, it just displays the hypocrisy of it all.
Exactly. Well, I'm looking at the comments and they are flying. And Miss Elise says it's interesting that he didn't see the risk of losing the right to free speech when Joy Reid was fired because it didn't come for them. What is that saying? You know, Mr. Church, the saying, they came for the Catholic and I said nothing. They think, you know, that whole thing.
Yes.
Until they come for me, because it wasn't in their best interest. All these people protesting, it didn't come for them until they pulled Jimmy Kimmel from the air. And here's the thing, they pressured, obviously, and came up with all sorts of lies as to why Colbert was off the air thing. But this was blatant because the FCC chair got involved, made this threat, and it was preempted. And now what I want to talk about really quickly is why. I don't know if everybody understands what Nexstar and oh God, what's the other, Sinclair, have to do with this.
Yes.
So here's the thing. Nexstar and Sinclair are station groups. And for those of you that don't know, station groups are media companies that own several different local affiliates in different markets. So right now, Nexstar and Sinclair are two separate, but Nexstar is looking to acquire Sinclair.
Oh, I did not know that.
Yes. So there is a rule per the FCC that no station group can have more than 39% of the market. If Nexstar and Sinclair merge, that gives them 80% of the market.
80%?
80%. Between the local affiliates of different, it's not just ABC, it's all different networks. So between all the local affiliates, between Nexstar and Sinclair, they both own a lot. So this is what this is about. That's why they pulled Jimmy Kimmel, because they need favor from the FCC in order for that deal to go through. So they're like, oh no, we don't want any trouble. And they pulled it. And it wasn't on every ABC affiliate. It was still about 20% of the country that did not get Kimmel last night, which they don't care because they're like, we'll just go to YouTube, right? But that's what all of this is about. So Jimmy Kimmel is a sacrificial lamb in all of this. So because the person that occupies the White House decides that he can't take a joke and he doesn't have, he looks like he has thick skin physically, but he does not.
Elephant skin is right.
That lizard. So simply because that lizard couldn't take a joke, now he said, well, I want this person off the air, and he's looking to get, in fact, he may sue ABC for putting Jimmy Kimmel back on the air. This is what I've seen the latest. So
yes, he did a rant on his True Social,
yes,
Jimmy Live Social.
Yes, exactly. So that's what this is all about. In case anybody wasn't clear what Nextel and Sinclair have to do, it's always about the money. Follow the breadcrumbs.
Follow the breadcrumbs. Follow the money.
Follow the money. So then what you also need to do is, because Sinclair and Nexstar are just as compliant and complicit in all of this as anybody else is. Look and see, okay, who are my local affiliates owned by? Is it a Nexstar group? Is it a Sinclair group? Look and see, because they're the reason for all of this too. They don't really give a damn about you. They're doing this so that they can have favor with the FCC and thereby the president or the person in the White House, and then that deal will go through and they will have 80% of the market.
Yes.
That's illegal.
Well, a lot of things are it's also Sinclair also not only deals in media, they have lots of products and malls, and they have their hand in a lot of areas.
Lots of different things.
I couldn't believe the extent of them. I was on there was this one guy that was on, he always pops on, but I had it on yesterday. Oh, I wish I can find it, but he was talking about all of the entities under the Sinclair umbrella.
So much.
Many
That's
businesses that we use, a lot of products we use are under their umbrella. It goes beyond just the media. This is about an empire. These are about empires that they're creating.
And that's what they care about. Using you and your dollars to continue to fuel their empire. So I don't know about you, but you know, we're quick to get on the phone with T-Mobile or AT&T whenever they take a little bit too much. And my bill, what is this $5? We're quick to do that, but we're less quick to do it when it comes to these larger companies that think you will hold tight to your Procter & Gamble or whatever, even if it means that it's funding something else. And I'm not saying I'm just giving an example, right? You will hold tight to whatever big conglomerate if it means inconveniencing you. But you're quick, but they're using, what you have to realize is they're using your dollars to fuel their agendas. And you willingly give it up to them. We can't be this daft. We've got to begin to be responsible about where we spend our money, what we watch. And I'm really talking about, everything, but media in particular, what you watch. Listen, I'm a TV junkie. I grew up on TV. I told you the story before about how my sister and I were little. it was a day that days I can't even remember if we sat at the table, because my sister and I were such TV addicts that we had to eat in front of the TV. And if they made us sit at the table, we were like this the whole time. I grew up on TV, but now when I look at what I consume, I'm on YouTube all day, every day. I'm
That's
looking
right.
at social media all day, every day.
Yes.
The level of talent that is there surpasses in many cases what you can get on mainstream media. They just don't have the quote large platform. But guess what? These platforms in and of themselves are large platforms. I also really believe in order for this to work, here's part of the problem. We've seen the money that can come out of media. This is a
Yes.
$1 trillion industry, and everybody wants their piece of it. But the reality is media is changing. Those trillions that you used to get, it's not going to be like that anymore. And I think everybody has to, in this industry, needs to be used to there being less money coming directly from media, because all you have to do is look at the model of the content creator. It doesn't
Yes.
come from, most people are not making their money from YouTube. It's pittance compared to brand deals, compared to the services that you offer.
Yes.
So it's going to have to be a multi-pronged approach. And guess what? Everybody who's in traditional media, you've got to learn that way too. And guess what? I can teach you. If
That's
you
right.
want to really learn,
That's
I
right.
can teach you.
And you bring us something, I mean, and we'll talk about the future of media, because I would love to know what you see. And I remember this week, 2 days ago, when I was at the Unstoppable Africa, the conversation was about the African continent. And so much media is being developed on the continent, and people are using little devices like these little guys, right, to create and to create content. And it's all about content. And so they had a workshop that I kind of like shared part of it on my Instagram. The future is content. Whoever controls and owns the content is the one that is going to really succeed in the future. The media that we see today is going extinct. There's no more. I mean, we grew up with ABC, NBC, CBS, Fox. Those were pretty much, and WPIX here in New York.
Yes.
Those were our channels. I forgot UPN. How can we have underpaid Negroes? I mean, we had them as well. So we had UPN. We had all of these were the major players, right?
Yes.
And you've seen over the years, you don't see UPN got rid of all their underpaid Negroes, and then you got WPIX got rid of their people, and then they start dwindling down. Then you see ABC News, CBS, NBC, they changed their formats. Then you see they went from the format of having real TV shows and productions to more news, because it's supposedly easier to do instead of having good programming. So over the last 2 decades, you've seen a dwindling down of mainstream media, and now it's really on its last leg, if I may say. I mean, this is my opinion.
You may.
And looking
You're right.
looking at how, and I think Roland leaving CNN, and then starting his own channel network for Black people, for our community. And he was kind of like I would say like a pioneer of a sort, because then you saw other people beginning to say, wait a minute, I could leave the main networks too. And then now you see Don Lemon, because I'm a Lemon head, and he just been winning awards all over the place. The Manhattan Chamber, we gave him an award for the ability to take nothing, or take what he had left of his career, and to say and rethink his whole position, and now providing a service where it's fast growing. He's almost getting ready to hit 1 million soon followers in less than a year, right? So
yes,
this is where, and now you see the Tom Acostas, and you see all of the people that have been in the mainstream media now have their own YouTube channels. Joy Reid, all these people. This is the future. And not only that, it's not just happening here in America, it's happening around the globe. What do you so what do you think is the future as a professor? This is your position. This is where you know this inside and out.
Yeah.
Where do you see us 5 years from now or 10 years from now in the media industry? Because for those that don't know, I mean, obviously we're photographers and we're media folks. I'm a photographer, and this affects photographers as well. I know, we have a lot of photographers in our community. Because I'll just throw this because I was meeting with Eric Roberts on for the UN event that happened with Namibia, and it was just like maybe 12 of us in the room, and I got to really ask questions from Eric Roberts, and we had a great exchange of information talking about content creating film in Namibia, but also in Africa, and how you lay the groundwork and how you create infrastructure. Those infrastructures help the country and help people overall. And so I bring that up is that people are thinking it all. And so the future is going to look very different for photographers, because we're talking about cinema photographers, how, me going to Namibia, that opportunity for me to do cinema photography for movies that are coming to Namibia. Will it be opportunities for me to train other photographers in Namibia because they need the skill set, so that way when they do film production, they can come to Namibia and now have photographers on ready and on board. So my brain was like totally exploding in this conversation, because I realized, wow, me moving to Namibia and going to going to Africa opened so many opportunities. And he was also sharing, as in the Black community. I said, there's a people of color here, but I'm just bringing this to everyone, because white folks can enjoy this too. Black folks can enjoy this too. If you are like saying, you know what, I need to rethink my American life. I need to maybe, because we all know Africa is the final frontier. Africa, there's so many opportunities, and if you are an expert at what you do, whether it's photography, media, film, all of it, you are now living in the greatest time of history, where you can take your resources and go to another country and develop these industries and create infrastructure. So anyway, I just threw that in because I knew that's where I had this conversation at these two meetings, and also the workshop for Unstoppable Africa. And I thought it was fascinating that they were saying also, and then I'm going to hand it to Dr. Tachi, is that I do believe in 20 years, the average age in Africa will be 30 years old, and they will be the major business owners in the world. They will have big streams of income coming from all over the world, because the richest man in Africa was speaking at the Unstoppable Africa. The richest man in Africa, one of the richest men in the world. And he was also saying, if people are he says, you need to take AI and make it your major investment in your life. And he was saying also that China just passed a law that every child starting in kindergarten will have to know AI as part of their curriculum for life. Because he who knows the technology, AI, and all this advancements will rule the world economically. Okay, doctor, I've said enough.
So are you saying Dangote was there?
Yes.
Okay. Wow. Okay.
Yes. I got to
So he's
see him on the
Nigerian, so-
stage.
Wow. Okay. Wow. This is important. And the thing is, people don't pay enough attention to Africa as a powerhouse in all senses, but they are a media powerhouse. If you look right now, when we talk about industries that produce, traditional industries that produce content, Bollywood is number one in India.
Yes.
Nollywood in Nigeria is number two.
Yes.
Hollywood is only number three in terms of distribution. It's only third in the world.
Yes.
But arguably, because they have the loudest voice, people think that they're number one and they're not.
That's right.
So really pay attention to quote unquote emerging markets when it comes to this type of stuff. Think about, so you want to know my thoughts on this in terms of the future. Definitely Africa is the future. Southeast Asia is the future. Even Latin America is the future, because there are so many opportunities, but I'm particularly pointing to the East, to Southeast Asia, and to Africa, and the opportunities that lie there. So if you are a content creator, I understand we all have a niche, but you need to learn how to make your content more global.
Yes.
That's where the opportunities lie. The opportunities lie in indie in general, but the opportunities really lie there. What do you have that you know, like you were talking about? There's an opportunity for you to become involved in the Namibian film industry, right? For you to become involved in Namibia and photography. There are opportunities that lie there. And in those opportunities, including local populations in those opportunities. I have to say that. Let's not go to these other places and colonize. Let's
Yes.
go and work with the
You're going to
local
work with them.
communities
Work
there,
with the government.
with them. Right.
Mhm.
Work with the governments. Bring your talents to help build a better society, because you'll be living there, but you also want to make it a better society for others. Because who wouldn't be annoyed if foreigners are always coming in and then taking things? I would be.
Yes.
Absolutely. So let's think about making your content more global if you're doing this. So I see content becoming more global because there are opportunities there from smaller
Yes.
creators, from bigger creators. I also want to say that so what's kind of happening, and I don't want to put it this way, but I have to call it what it is. Don't compare yourself to people like Don Lemon and Joy Reid, etc., because they came with an audience. That's
Yes.
nothing wrong with that. But all these people
Yes.
that you see on YouTube now, they already had an audience because they were on mainstream television. So you're
Yes.
looking at their numbers and like, oh, because they came with their audience.
They came with their audience.
They didn't build their audiences on YouTube or on social. They
Yes.
got an audience as a result of what they did on mainstream television, because at one point that was all important. It's not all important anymore. So what has started to happen, because even though I too am a Lemonhead, I love watching Joy Reid, I love watching all these other people, but there is a gentrification of the independent space happening because smaller creators then don't get the opportunities, the brand deals, the shine. Even though, here's the thing, you're coming from television, but it's not the same thing. This is about building a community of people. So you have to, and Don Lemon gets it because he has the Lemonheads and he started to build that. You have to make people feel as if they are an important part of your community, and you're building a community, and they're not just coming to watch you. They're coming to have dialogue with you. That's what you have to do. And that's what very few people that are crossing over, they don't get that. They're starting to get it, but they still operate with the mindset of a television person, of a mainstream radio person, and this ain't it. It is different, and you have to adapt. At the same time, give respect to the people who built this path for you. Now, here's the thing. Mainstream media built the path. They walked so that social media and all of this can run. It came from mainstream media. Let's be clear. But now there is a clear difference between the two. So when you come into this space, give homage, pay honor to the people who built this space for at all. And it wasn't mainstream media. That was people like us that built this space.
That's right.
So don't get on your high horse when people from a podcast or whatever want to, hey, would you come on? Don't get on your high horse, because you exist here because we did the work of opening up the space. So what I'm seeing is that, but what I want to see is, that's why I'm telling people to be global. That's why I'm telling people, yes, have your niche, but also include in your niche, not just the US, not just Europe, not just Canada. Make sure you include, quote unquote, emerging markets. These markets have emerged. Forget emerging. The emerged markets.
They've already emerged.
They've exploded.
They've exploded.
They've exploded. So make sure you do that. And in 5 years, I really see independent is really going to take over everything. Indie is it.
That's right.
There's already, let me just really quickly tell you about, I don't know, I was looking at the mainstream media to see about this story, but Tennessee State, there were some young maggots who came on campus basically trying to have debates and antagonize. Now, Tennessee State University is an HBCU in Nashville, Tennessee. Well, they weren't having it. So they called for, of course, campus police, because it was unauthorized, to escort them off. But not only did they escort them off, students behind them escorted them off, and the band played them out. They said, oh, no, you're not going to do this here. Not here. But where did I get this news from? I follow Watch the Yard. Because I went to an HBCU, I am a Delta, so I follow very closely what they did. I got it from Watch the Yard. None of the mainstream media had it except for one thing in Tennessee, and that was because it was there. This is why I'm saying you cannot just rely on mainstream media for your news, because that's a big story. To me, that's a big story, but to them, it's not. So they didn't cover it. So you see what you're missing out on when you only rely on that. So I see more of things like, for example, a Watch the Yard, more Blavities, more of these publications really expanding what they do through video in places like YouTube, etc. And there are more to come. YouTube is not just it. Substack, for many people, is huge. You can you also do your show on Substack if that's something you want to do at the same time as you're writing. So that's what I see. The Substacks of the world, the YouTubes of the world will just get bigger. But this is also something I have to put in there that I foresee, but that I'm saying you need to do. You can't stop at Substack and YouTube. You need to have your own platform. There are platforms like Mighty Networks where you can gather community and pay. You can do a school, SKOOL, and have a community over there. You need to, so I guess what I'm saying is, rather than this mass audience, we see this fragmented audience that's starting to happen. There's these entertainment silos, right? These media silos that start to happen. And I think that's okay, because you get exactly what you want when you are in the silo. You don't want all that other stuff. You get this. So that's what I'm seeing down the road. I hope that made sense.
No, that was really good. And for those that don't know, Dr. Tachi has her own media platform, which is Indie Soup, which this show is always broadcast in the evenings after on that platform. But we've watched Indie Soup explode and grow when Dr. Tachi launched it last year. And how many subscribers are there now?
I think we're at 28,300.
That is amazing. And also, not only am I on repetition, repeat show on the evenings at 4:00. However, there are so many people that are educated in so many ways that bring so much information to you on the platform. And this, I mean, Indie Soup, independent media, Indie Soup Media. And there are so many people there. And that's why you should go and support Indie Soup Media, because, she didn't know I was going to do this, but I'm doing it because what is beautiful about Indie Soup is that you got people talking about finances. You got people like Dr. Vibe talking about men and Black men of color, and then not only that, but he has guests on that are talking about healthcare and all kinds of stuff. There are people that are talking about, like, again, finances. They're talking about the workshops that they have. What's the young lady that she does the workshops, and she has like people come in every during the week in the morning. Shay gave us some great tips on how to run your business, and she gives. And these people also give. They do it, they share because they love it. And that's what Dr. Tachi is saying about having community. It's all about community. You guys show up here every day because of community, not because Ron look, I'm not the most articulate person. Not that I'm the most good looking, but I'm okay.
Who told you that?
But you guys don't come. I mean, obviously, I kind of like, navigate stuff, but you guys come here to be with each other. That's why on this platform, I try to share your comments as much as possible. I try to get your comments on the board because it's so important. And because as you guys are sharing, you're creating the conversation. As you guys are sharing in the comment boxes, we get to say, "Oh, well, I didn't think about that," and then you steer the viewer, the The person in the community is steering the conversation on this platform. So, but make sure you go to Indie Soup
Absolutely.
Media. You just go on again.
Please.
It is such a great platform. So many amazing people. You have Gwendolyn on Indie Soup Media. You have Chris there, some of his stories and his shows. Dr. Tachi knows what she's talking about. And I love that she had foresight to see where media is going. And she says, I'm in this for the long haul, and I'm building a community of communities of media, online media. So
Exactly. It's
cheers
an
to
uphill
that.
battle, though. I do
Yes.
thank you, but it's an uphill battle because people are still stuck on mainstream media, and they're stuck in the people that they know. And it's difficult sometimes to get people to give a chance to, because I will say every single person we have on the platform is stellar, just absolutely magnificent, and they
Yes.
know their stuff. But it's an uphill battle to continue to get people to watch, and that's where we need you all to be in there. We can't complain about media and then not support what's out there. As you know, there's some TBD people that are making content on the platform. Support them, support us, because guess what? We're not getting the wonderful trillions and millions from the industry. We do it because we actually love it, and we want to inform, educate, uplift, inspire, and all of that. And we don't want to do it to no one. We want an audience. So I'm calling you out. If you're not watching now, make it your business to what we're on every day.
Every
From
day,
4
every
to
day.
about 8, depending on the day, right? So we're still in summer hours, kind of. So we just have Ron's show today. Actually, because Ron's show was on now, I shared it. So we're on now. So, but daily, there's something. I think there are 1,000 episodes of shows on the YouTube now. You can go back
Yes.
and watch some things, tell some people. And yes, for me, because I'm pointing fingers for me, but also for everybody, for other independent people out there. Because we can't, because I don't want to hear complaints if we're not supporting. And that's the one thing. People can accuse me of a lot of things, but they'll never accuse me of not supporting. Every single person knows that if somebody has a broadcast or they go live, my face is right there.
There she
I'm
is.
like, oh,
There she is. She's
even if
right
I'm the
here.
only
She's
one. So
popping
I
in.
walk the walk that I talk. I want everybody else to do that too. So,
and that is, and also, if I may say, and Chris and I had this conversation 2 days ago. We always have our Monday powwow, and yes, we have our like I have my Patreon, and you have that little dollar thing down at the bottom at the comment box that you can kind of like contribute to what we do here. That's there. However, money is great. Money is wonderful, right? Supporting with the dollars. However, the thing that you can do that's the highest of value that doesn't cost you a dime, share your favorite platforms, whether it be the Don Lemons or the Joy Reads, but it's Indie Soup Media. It's here, this platform. It's Gwendolyn's platform. It's all these people that are out here. This is work. You guys think, oh yeah, I know some of you guys know how hard this is, but it is work to come in, to create lines, to write down scripts, to do timing, go through the film. It takes time to do media, online media. So the best reward you can give the people you support, share with your auntie, share with your cousins, because some of you are here because someone shared our platform with you and you're here, right? So share. It's the highest commodity on social media, sharing. And if you all share, all the people that you love and embrace online, you would help them incredibly. And also, yes, subscribe. Make sure you share, like, and subscribe, and that will help us. Dr. Tachi, any last words, my dear?
this has been This has been great, and I really am full. This has given me energy to, for the rest of the day, definitely. Thank you always for giving me a platform on your platform. I think we're stronger together. Even though I talked
Together.
about entertainment silos, I think it makes more sense to work together to bring more people to our respective platforms. And think global. I'll say that again.
Think
Think
global.
global. When it comes to content, don't just do it for your neighborhood. Hyperlocal is great, but
Yes.
also say, what can I do, or what opportunities are there for me in global content? And just start. If you've ever thought about starting to do content, do it. Do it, do it. And not to shameless plug, I'm actually, the set of courses that I'm going to do is going to teach you how to put shows together. So
Yes.
for that.
Oh, I love it. I love it. And I mean, when I being at Stop Africa, Unstoppable Africa this 2 days ago, really, and now you kind of like you help bring it all together. We have to start
Mm,
thinking globally. And how, like, and this is what I've been saying about how Touch Base Daily is going to evolve as I travel overseas, is because not only will I be sharing photographers from America, but I'll be sharing photographers from Nigeria,
mm.
photographers from Namibia, photographers from South Africa, photographers from Europe, going to London. I have friends in London, photographers in Paris. I
Mhm.
would love to take this to where you get to see all of these amazing people from around the globe. And that's where we're starting. I mean, we have a consistent foundation of people here on this platform, and I think we can take it to the next level. And I think we can do it.
We
So
can.
on that note, here's some advertisement. Here is some advertisements. Okay, first of all, join the email. Let me take the Tachi's that little banner off there. Join our email list today, and you'll be able to get emails from us. And also, it's also a way of make sure we stay in contact with you in case we are not able to connect with you on social media. But social media is a big money maker, so it should be around for a while, because you know what they say: follow the dollar. And also, I am an event photographer, and I'm going to be doing event photography, whether I'm in America or overseas or wherever I am. I will have my camera ready to take photos of events and letting people know your story. And so if you want your story to be saved and preserved in history, the best way to do it is through photography. And also, and thank you to our Patreon members. Your support helps us create amazing content. If it wasn't for you, we would not be here. So again, if you're not a Patreon member, join our Patreon community. Just go to Patreon and go to Ron Lewis Photos, and you will be able to do that. And then last but not least, make sure you join our YouTube channel, like and subscribe. You are invited to do so. Okay, I think we got it all in, Dr. Tachi.
Yay.
And make
You're
sure you see
amazing.
Indie Soup. Make sure you go to Indie Soup. If you don't
Make
know
sure you
about
go to
Indie
Indie.
Soup and you happen to see this video, make sure you go to that YouTube tab that says search and put in Indie Soup Media, and it will
Oh,
pop up.
and watch Mediascope on Friday nights.
Mediascope, that's right.
Mediascope is my show where I talk about everything media, tech, and pop culture. So some of the things I talked about
And they're
today,
so
we
much
get
fun.
into. It is a lot of fun. So make sure that you do that. I'm not doing Instagram anymore for that. It's on YouTube and other channels, but join me on YouTube Friday nights at 8 p.m. We have a lot of fun.
Mediascope. Yes, that's so much fun. I go in, I don't care where I am. I may be in a restaurant. I turn it on. I'm like, yeah, there we go. And I'm just in my little comments in. So,
Listen,
okay.
it's a good show, in my
It's a
opinion.
great show. It is a good show. And Dr. Tachi be bringing out some real good pop culture and all that good stuff. Okay, I see some applause. I see Kelly, I guess, has some applause. I see Janet says 100, 100. I see Anthony with some applause. I see Kaz with her confetti and her applause. And then Anthony says, if you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together. African proverb. I
Amen.
like that one. I like that one. And Lisa says, yes, I've been listening, not commenting, but it was a great show.
Oh,
Fifi's
thank
in the
you.
building with her hands applauded. And Elise says, we are definitely stronger together. And don't want to miss what Tanya said. Tanya says, this community is a safe place for learning and sharing. And on that note, have a great day, guys. Enjoy. Tomorrow is Thursday, Trend Watch Thursday. Chris will be here with me tomorrow at the helm. And, Gwendolyn's on her vacation, so she's roaming around, just resting. And I will see you guys tomorrow. Later. Hello, and thank you for joining us today. Make sure you hit the like, the subscribe, and leave a comment on this video. I would love to hear from you. Thank you again. Until I see you next time.